the whole side of that.
Plus, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the fire trucks do their runs down that way too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to visualize where they would put it too if they want to leave it close by.
Where the DNR has these skid docks, they've got a lot of property, and when they pull it out of the water, it's out of the way. But there's so little property down here at the head of that dock. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a practical solution.
Well, not when you understand you got to take it out with forklifts. I mean, where else are we going to put the thing? You know?
Well, there's contractors that would have the equipment that we could hire to do that, but
and that's additional cost too.
Right, but you're still not going to want to drag it up the hill or to take it to the schoolyard or something like that. That would be ridiculous. So, if we're going to put a boat dock in, I think maybe if we're going to spend money on a boat dock, and we just spent money to get this one repaired, before it gets tore up with boat traffic, it would be best probably to make the switch and bring that dock over here while it's now back in A1 shape.
Yeah, it looks good. If you've been down there, take a look. They did a good job fixing it. What do others think? I mean, first of all, do you want to bring the dock over here? That should probably be our first question. I mean, that was one of the things we had wanted to do this year, mm-hmm. and it was on that project list.
Yeah, it was.
We budgeted for that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
I'm glad you researched it because that's what we wanted, and I'm in agreement with you that I would stick with the Michigan Lake Products rock dock.
Yeah,
that's what I would do too.
We didn't plan for the $15,000 or $20,000. We planned it.
Yeah, well,
we planned for a little less.
I just don't think we should spend $20,000. I mean, this was for 40 feet, 12.5 with another 25 for galvanized. So I don't know what it will be for 50 feet. Let's just say I think it would be up to 20,000, and I think that's ridiculous for us to spend that much money on a dock. Just,
Well, I like the fact that Dennis said us where we're going.
What do you think, John?
Well, the last time I had a phone conversation with you, I liked the idea of the grant kicking in and somebody picking up some of the bill.
So did I.
And I was excited about the other dock for that reason. As far as putting them in and out and them taking up 50 feet, I thought I had envisioned our tractor over there could handle that dock.
I doubt it. That's a lot of weight.
But if it can't, then that creates a whole other problem.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But the idea that it can be out there at the minute the ice is gone for the fishermen, it can be out there, and the minute you can almost wait till a frost before you pull it out. There's advantages there that the fishermen would love as far as that part of it goes. And you're not, and the cost of just hooking onto it. Like I said, I thought our tractor or a pickup could put it in or out. If that's not the case, then it changes things.
It sounds like, and I'm visualizing based on Mary Ann's description, but it sounds like you want to pick the end of it up, to be able to drag it.
Well, he basically said they use some kind of a fork system. Is what he said.
Get it up high enough to drag it, and they're backing uphill.
Well, right. But all the two that he had, they set them. He told me right there beside him. So it's probably more like you said, like a DNR kind of deal where they have adjacent land or something. It just seems to me like it might be it would be great to have it for a long term, but I think we can do what you want to do, John, by putting it in earlier and taking it out. That it's not been really a problem. I mean, this year was a problem because we had broken one and we had to get it fixed, and we didn't make a decision on this dock, and a bunch of things all happened.
But them should have been fixed last fall.
Yeah,
when they come out, you notice they're broke, you get them fixed.
We have another problem with that, so we'll have to talk about that separately.
Get better at that.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
When they come out, if they're identified that there's something broke, mm-hmm. they should have been fixed then.
Well,
or at least let Lake Products pick them up and store them over the winter and work on them when they have time.
Right.
Well, yeah, and that was really more Cottage Care, because Cottage Care had responsibility for the docks, not Lake Products. So
right.
We use Lake Products, but it's not their problem, it's Cottage Care's problem.
Right.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to leave it as it is and just keep the dock in we've got this year and think about something next year? Do you want to put a dock at Boy Scout Park this year and get a new dock?
Boy Scout Park, I mean, it hasn't been mowed this year.
I know.
The vandalism that you talked about a year ago hasn't been corrected down there on the door.
Yep.
There's posts missing. If you brought a dock over today and decided to put it in, there's no entrance or exit to it. There's no way that, other than what we had last year, down the bank is the only way to the water.
Yep.
So I don't know how that you'd get anything prepped this year to bring that dock over and set it up.
Well, and that would, if,
You know, you should spend some time prepping it and getting it ready
yeah,
and determining where it is. You talked about swim buoys, things of that nature.
Yeah, those aren't in yet.
yeah.
You know,
They're on order, but they're not in, so.
Well,
Could
I want
we-
to talk, we're going to talk in a minute about Cottage Care. So we've got a
Okay.
big problem.
Could
So-
we table it until next year and plan maybe to look at this type of dock in a little more depth? I basically know what you're talking about, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Well,
So,
you can go look at, I think, for me, it's the cost. I wouldn't
Yeah,
vote for it
I
I would
do
not spend
think that's a lot of
$20,000 for a dock. I won't vote for it, because I think that's the wrong use of taxpayers' money. I will spend $6,000 or $69,000 or whatever, because I think that is
Was
the
that
right thing to do.
The Michigan products, was that his contingency that we did order it this year?
No.
Okay. 'Cause
No.
he had something, he said something, he'd give us a break.
Oh,
on that.
prices are firm for 90 days. I guess that's probably,
so it
we'd
would
have
go up
3
maybe
months.
next year.
But it's, well, 69.75.20. But I'm just going with what our plan was. Our plan was to put a
Yeah.
dock over there. If we don't want to put a dock,
Do you think
that's,
the
I
dock
think
that we
because
have
we're not
there
ready,
is
that
going
maybe
to
we just
get damaged
not do it
just
this
being
year.
there?
oh, that dock will be damaged again this year. There's no
So
doubt
is
about
there a
it.
possibility we should remove that dock and put a new one in and then
Well, that was
get
what's,
it ready to be over to Boy Scout Park?
At least that would preserve the investment we made in it
yeah.
this year.
That's what I'm trying to look at, that we order the new dock.
And we've got to do something over here. I mean,
Reserve
we
the old
can't,
dock
just
for Boy
because
Scout
we've
Park.
Just
got,
because they can tear it up over there doesn't mean they won't tear it up
No,
over
it's
here.
true.
I know, but,
You know.
but
But
we've
you're
got,
not, the usage over here is a whole bunch
different.
less.
Yep.
And you've got a DNR boat launch.
Right.
So
We
I
don't have a
think
launch next to it
you have
here.
no launch. And I think that is going to make it a very different setup over here.
and
that's
we've got to
not
put a
done.
dock in here.
Yeah,
We've got to do something, whether posts are missing or not right now. We still are going to have to spend some money to get it prepped, to be able to use it. Whether it's the final plan or not, we've got to give people the right to be able to use this park over here.
Isn't
And the
that one
ability.
in? Isn't that one in over here?
Mhm.
Oh, you, no?
Yep. They haven't done anything over here.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
all right. I didn't know that.
The other problem with the dock over here is they're dragging it up and down the bank, which is causing an erosion issue. There's just real no good way to get it to and from the shoreline.
But isn't that dock a lot heavier dock than the one we would be bringing here?
No.
Well, it's going to be 2 docks, right? It's going to be a boat dock, and then we're going to keep
Okay.
the existing dock. We're going to have 2
That dock
docks.
is just as heavy or heavier than this one.
Okay, I thought.
But we
this one
talked
was
in
heavier.
the past of moving down the shoreline and making that bank less
Right.
of an issue, and we've not prepared, we've done none of that.
Yeah, the land's gotta be prepared before you do that.
Well, we could do what Kathy said, is we could buy the new dock, get it in, take the other one out.
And
make
hold
sure-
the other
Bring it
one.
over
Hold
here
it
and
and bring it
store
over
it?
here and store it. We got the space, that's for sure. And then
know
prepare
by next
the
year,
land, and then
exactly,
look
know
at
by
what we've
next
got to
year it's
do
ready
for
to
the
go
land.
in, and it's already a year.
Yeah.
We have both sides covered.
Okay, well,
That's my
let's
thought.
end the discussion. Is there a motion to, is there any motion that people want to make? I mean, I'd like to see us make a motion to do what Kathy said, which was
I will make
accept.
the motion to buy the dock from Michigan Lake Products, and once it comes in and is installed, we'll remove the other dock and reserve it for Boy Scout Park.
Who would install it?
We'll
Remove the other
we'll have-
dock?
we'll talk in a minute. like a,
It will be installed.
it will be installed.
I'll
Is there
support
some-
that motion.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, great. We'll purchase a new dock from Lake Products. I'll call Phil. Okay, next thing on the agenda was the Jim Lawson property in Bennett Light District question.
Yeah, remember he had a letter written to us last week, it seems like last week, 3 weeks ago. He wanted to get out of the light district, so I asked Clayton if he was in the new one or the old one. He was in the old one, and he would also be in the new one, because I looked it up. And that light is there is a light on Bennett Road that's pretty close to this property. It's paid for, no?
Well, is this your new light district? This map?
Well, that's not my map, no. That Bennett Street light, no, I didn't make that. You got that from Carl.
I don't know where I got that from.
Well, that's not mine. That's not the official one.
The light near Jim Lost, it's not near him.
No, it isn't?
Because I looked again yesterday.
Oh, did you?
I
Okay.
think you thought it was on the dump road and
Mhm.
Summer Place, and it's not. It's back further.
How
That
far?
one- I don't have a odometer that goes by quarter mile or half mile. It just goes 1 mile at a time. But it's really, it's not next to him.
No? So would you be in favor of getting him out of the district?
Well, now I don't know where your district is.
Yeah,
Because
that's not my
if I look at this, it's not even up to Summer Place, and he's right before
Yeah.
Summer Place. And
Okay.
he
That's
just,
not the official map.
Okay, the question is, this is the question he wanted to get out of the
He
district.
wants to get out,
Yeah.
and we would have to vote on that.
Right,
And
And you're-
it's
and-
either way, it doesn't, whatever
Yeah.
the board feels.
he took the time to come to the meeting, and that's what he had to do, is come
yeah,
before the
right,
board.
right,
Right. And
And,
he wrote a letter.
yeah,
and he wants to know if he can be out of the light district.
yep.
If
this-
it's a half a mile from Old 27, I'm not even sure if he's right on that
Well,
borderline.
he says he has .12 acres in the lighting district, and that portion is located in the back, in the middle of the woods, and so he doesn't feel that they're any value to him. However, coming off of 27, they are of value. So, you can look at it both ways.
He doesn't usually come off at 27.
Well,
He comes down Mullett Road.
Well, it's,
then he has the advantage of the one at
it's the question of, I think somebody addressed it earlier,
No, he
Irv
comes from
did.
Hoppies.
I mean,
Not that way.
the question is, are we, he's getting safety value for those lights, right? Or
Yeah,
not?
the light is before his place.
Well, it's before he
I
gets
live
it.
out there, I pass this place, I've had no issues with any safety out there.
You have lights though, right?
No.
Oh, there's no lights.
No,
He doesn't
not
wanna be on the
beyond the
light
Bennett
district.
Road light, which
Okay,
is up
I know
on
where
the
that,
hill.
yeah,
It's just up there.
Okay.
okay. I don't know,
Yeah.
if people want to give a motion, it's up to you. Who wants to ask a motion for him to be out of the lighting district? Okay, then we will,
Is that what he asked us to do?
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, so we either have to deny or
well,
Give
if
it
nobody
to
will
him.
make a motion to give it to him, then he's going to be denied, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
But I think that somebody's gotta make that motion.
I'll make the motion for him to be I think he's talking about the new light district, correct?
well, we don't, yeah.
Well,
We
we
haven't got a
can't
new
do
light
anything with
district.
that now.
This is the old lighting
This
district.
is the old one because we haven't initiated the new one, so he's requesting to get out of the old one.
Okay, I was under the understanding you were talking about the new half
No, we
mile.
don't even have the new one.
No,
Well, that's
we
what
haven't
everybody's all
initiated
upset
that.
about. Okay.
So this would be to get him out of the old one.
I think that's a tricky situation.
I do too.
Yeah.
Because if somebody is out of the old one, does the township owe them a refund
No,
based
I'm not
on?
gonna do that.
No.
I'm not
No.
doing
You
that
know,
Exactly.
now.
No.
I thought,
you can't do that.
No,
It's too convoluted.
Yeah.
I thought we were always discussing the new,
Well, I think I personally
we
feel we should
ask-
deny it because
yes.
it doesn't make sense, and it's not going to be relevant shortly. And he's getting a tax rebate anyway. Right? Well, everybody
yeah,
has,
because
everybody
I'm
has.
not making
everybody's
the
not
motion
gonna,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
we're
thought
not
he
gonna
was
collect
talking
any
about-
taxes for quite
Right.
a while.
Okay, well, I don't know if we need a motion to deny his request,
Do
do
we?
we?
Let's ask.
Well, can I address the issue for just
Sure.
a second? I think if he's in the old district and you've already decided you're not going to collect any further revenue until the monies that have been collected have run out,
Mhm.
then there's no reason to remove him from the old district. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right, because he's not being
gonna
paid
be-
anything, or,
right.
yeah, he's not paying anything.
Anyway,
Yeah,
So I would think that, with that rationale, you could simply send him a letter and say, well, the board did not act on your request because you're not going to be assessed, for the old district.
for the next couple of years.
Couple of years.
Yeah, come back in 3 years or something.
Correct.
Okay,
Now, if the board at some point moves forward with the new district, and then he says, I don't think I should be included, then.
then you can decide.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
that's good.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of official things. I got a couple of topics I need to bring to the board. We have an issue with one of our vendors who has not, does not have workers' comp insurance or unemployment insurance, and has several people working for them. And we withheld last time the paycheck, which was not what we should have done. That should have been, we should pay for work done, but we shouldn't pay for, and according to Tim, when I talked to Tim, if somebody does work for us, we need to pay for them. If the work was accomplished, we need to pay for them. If they don't meet our criteria, then then we should fire them. But the problem here is that we don't have, with any of our vendors, and that's really two, that are not employees but are working for us, we don't have a contract or any kind of an agreement with them. We have always used pretty much, and it's worked, our bid process. So we do the bid, they take the bid, and that's the criteria they use to think what they have to do. In the case of, I guess I can speak about it, Cottage Care, I have met with them and with Hobie, our other vendor, and this was last year, we spent a lot of time, who's doing what, when are they doing it, what's Hobie doing, what's Cottage Care doing, but we never had any agreement. I mean, other than what Rachel does with them to get the forms, the right documents, right, Rachel?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah,
is
I just
liability.
collect them and
We have to have liability insurance. We have to have unemployment insurance, and I didn't know really about work. We have to have workers' comp, and then in talking to Tim, we really have to have unemployment insurance also. So anyway, Cottage Care has not been able, and I've talked to him a couple times, and Rachel's talked to him a lot more since February about getting the insurance, and they haven't been able to get the insurance. And the reason, what they told me, was because it was so expensive. And if you just have workers' comp on a business, like a store, it's pretty cheap because you're not in an endangered field. But if you're doing lawn, driving a lawnmower, tractor, or whatever, your workers' comp is going to go up because the possibility, like yours, probably a sawmill, you probably pay a lot of workers' comp for people because you're in a dangerous, right? More risk, higher risk. So they told us that it was something, they told me, in the range of the cheapest insurance they could get was $3,000, which is about what they make from us for the year. So after talking with Tim, what he suggested, Tim, correct me if I'm saying anything wrong here, what you suggested that we should do was to get write up a contract for everybody that we hire that is a contractor. This would be the roofers, which I'll talk about in a minute, but the people that are going to roof with us, or the people that are going to, so that we're not liable for workers' compensation. So somebody that is a single employer, i.e. Hobie, we would have him sign a held harmless within his agreement. Because if he has people working for him that are subcontractors, then he could file suit against us for workers' compensation or damages for being hurt on the job, unless we have a held harmless clause within our contract with him, which we don't now. And most townships, as Tim told me, don't have this. I mean, we're just kind of, as Rachel's trying to do, get us updated into the, 21st century, whatever. So what I think Tim suggested, if I'm on the right track so far, what Tim suggested was that we develop, and I think he has. Did he do that with you?
I did not.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay. That we develop a contract for both Hobie and Cottage Care to sign. Cottage Care, because we had talked to them so much on their situation, my personal feeling is about Cottage Care is we should call them up, give them one last chance. But if they don't have the unemployment, we should sever their contract. The unemployment and workers' comp, we should sever their contract. They have not done, they didn't put it in the dock. The dock came, and Michigan Lake Products called them and told them the dock was coming. And Hobie was there, and Hobie called me. And they told Michigan Lake Products called Cottage Care, and Cottage Care told me that they were putting the dock in the very next morning. The dock wasn't in. Hobie went down there, and Hobie and two of his guys put the dock in because I didn't, the dock hadn't been in, and I just felt the dock had to go in. So I made a kind of an executive decision, get the dock in. They haven't mowed over here. They didn't mow the grass down at the park. We finally had to get them to do the grass down at the park, and they just haven't delivered on what we expected them to do.
There's been poor performance.
Very poor performance, and now on top of this, we don't have workers' comp or unemployment. I think that we don't really have much of an option but to terminate them, or at least give them the option to terminate them, through a document.
I think we're taking an awful chance on a big lawsuit before them people get hurt.
Oh, absolutely. That's the point.
They should be qualified before you let them get the contract at all.
Yeah, well, and I'm talking to the audience here, but Rachel and I talked this quite a long time, and this is just, when you're a small township like we are, most townships have none of these contracts. We're going to probably be one of the few, other than probably Tuscarora and anyone that Tim has, that has a contract that does this work.
But many jobs that you can't even go on.
You can't even go on them, right?
Mow your lawn.
Yeah.
Without having some kind of working comp.
Yeah.
You go right back on your insurances and everything else.
Right. Well, and they could sue us. It's not even that it would go on the township's insurance. It would go on that they would sue us. So I guess the first thing I would want to do is have the board's agreement that we would put together a document. And I'm not sure, Tim, it will be some contractor hold harmless clause with our requirements for anybody that would work for us, right?
Yeah. Typically, what I do is I just have a 2.5-page document, and I call it a independent contractor contract.
Yeah.
And so anybody that is not an employee, if you're hiring somebody to roof, to paint, to cut the grass, whatever, they sign that contract, and it says right in that contract that they're providing, that they have employees, that they're fully insured, they have work comp, that they pay their unemployment, and that they're working as an independent contractor.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because you don't want them to be classified as an employee for any
Right.
purpose. And then there's a hold harmless provision in there that says that they will hold the township harmless from any damages caused by their employees, doing work on your premises. But then the other thing is, don't just take them anyone will sign a contract.
Right.
And people sign contracts all the time, and a lot of times never intend to fulfill what's in the contract. So you really want to make sure that as part of your process, you require them to provide you with up-to-date liability insurance, work comp insurance, and some type of proof that they, have, that their unemployment is, there's really not an insurance for that, but you put that in the contract that they, do pay their unemployment timely or whatever. I'm not terribly concerned about unemployment. It's just that if they have employees, they should be providing, they have to provide work comp.
Right.
They have to pay unemployment for their employees.
Right.
Now, an individual that runs the business may be exempt. They may not have work comp on themselves, because they.
I think it's against the law to have work comp on yourself.
It is, yes. And exempt and normal, normally your family members, your
Right.
spouse and so on and so forth, cannot be covered under the work comp policy either.
So, just one other question, Tim. In terms of Cottage Care, do we have to go back to them, or have they severed, can we sever that contract just for non-performance?
Well, I don't know what you did when you hired them. If you hired them for the year?
We did.
Okay. I think I would then send them a letter, and give them, I really would only give them 3-4 days, to provide you with certificates of insurance.
Okay.
And if they fail to provide you with the certificates of insurance, I'd put in the letter that, their existing contractual relationship will be terminated.
Yeah, okay. Can we do that, Rachel?
On a contract like that, couldn't you put in a performance bond or some such thing?